Let's just take a minute to appreciate this shirt before I start filming. It's just so cute. And it says, "Give me a hug." Like, I cannot. Hello, beautiful bookworms! My name is Katarina and welcome to my channel. So today I'm here to do another book review. I've been reading a little bit more than usual. Well, usual for this year because I normally read a lot of books, but this year a lot of work has been going on and stuff in my life. So I read a little bit more in these months of vacations than I did in the rest of the year. So I am doing another book review. And the book that I will be reviewing is a very known book right now. I do believe that the second and third books of the series have come out, and I don't know if there will be another one because I'm actually not following this. This is a borrowed book and I read it because it was borrowed. And the book is Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer by Rick Riordan. So everybody knows Rick Riordan. He's the writer of Percy Jackson series, the Heroes of Olympus series, the Kane Chronicles, the Trials of Apollo, this one, and I don't know if there's anyone else. Like, I have no idea, but I don't think so for now. Yeah, I have read all of those. Trials of Apollo, I only read the first one because the friend that lets me borrow these books doesn't have the second one yet, so I am waiting for that to read that book. So I started reading the Magnus Chase series, and first of all, a disclaimer, I enjoy reading Rick Riordan's writing to a point, and that point is on vacations when I don't have anything to worry about and to diverge from other books that I normally read that have a little bit of a more, well, not complicated, but more complicated writing. So I normally read it to have some laughs and just to know a little bit about the story, because for those that know the author, he is a very known author because he explores a lot of mythology. Egyptian mythology, Norse mythology with this book, Greek mythology and Roman mythology and that sort of thing. So that's why I read these books. But I'm not a particular fan, like a fangirl for all of the series, so don't crucify me yet, I will explain. I like the series, but the only series that truly resonated with me was the Heroes of Olympus series, and that is my favorite one. But yes, I had to read other ones before reading that one, so you really have to do that because his series normally are in chronological order, and some of the characters make appearances in other series and they are from the previous series, so you are supposed to know the series. But that has nothing to do with this review. I just wanted to leave a disclaimer that this is only my opinion and I'm not criticizing anyone that truly loves this author. I'm just saying that for me, he's like a vacation author. I only read it in vacations, like to don't stress with anything and just enjoy some laughs. That's it. But that said, I didn't hate this book. It was pretty cool, and although it has nothing to do with the Heroes of Olympus series, I liked it in a way. Not as much as I did that series, but it was nice. So this book is the story of Magnus Chase, obviously, and he is a teenager that has been living on the street for 2 years, I believe, since his mom was murdered by some kind of supernatural stuff. And on the night that he turns 16, he is told that someone is after him and he dies. And that is not a spoiler because if you read the back cover, if you read the synopsis, and if you read the first 3 chapters, he dies. And that's the beginning of the story. So he's saved by a Valkyrie, and because he died in combat, a brave death, he goes to Valhalla, which is like the paradise to in the Norse mythology, where the brave warriors go to live their afterlife. And he discovers that he is a demigod, which means that his mom is human and his dad is a god. And I'm not going to tell you which god it is. It's a Norse god, if that helps. But yeah. So yeah, that's the beginning of the story. And then obviously There will be adventures and quests, like you have a demigod, he has to do stuff. That's pretty normal. I enjoyed the book to a point, but it wasn't my favorite book by Rick Riordan. It definitely wasn't. Like I said, I love the Heroes of Olympus series, and this one for me, it was a nice start, but it was more of the same. And at the same time, although I liked the way that he depicts stuff of Norse mythology, I couldn't deal well with the character of Magnus Chase, because although he's supposed to have 16 and he reminds me of a young Percy Jackson, he's not as funny. He's a little bit, how do I say this? He tries very hard to be funny. And that doesn't work, because if you try too hard, it's not going to be as natural. I do like the relationship between some characters that I can't say who, because I will be spoiling you. I do like the relationships formed. I do like the team formed for the quest in general for the book, but I can't, for the life of me, just be empathetic with Magnus Chase, because first of all, for someone that suffered what he suffered, he was homeless for 2 years after his mother died, and he doesn't know who his father is. For someone like that, he should be a little bit more, how do I say this, more real in a way. He shouldn't be such a child. He should be a little bit more hardened by everything that he went through. And although sometimes Rick Riordan says things, because we are reading through Magnus Chase's eyes, and Rick Riordan sometimes writes stuff like, yeah, I've been homeless for 2 years, so I have these reactions. Yeah, okay, but he's still so very childish, and I understand that it's normal, he's only 16, but for someone that suffered what he did, he should be a little more grown up. And the fact that he tries so hard to be funny, for me, is just very complicated. I don't know, I found other characters from other series funnier than him. So that was a little bit, since I only read this because I find the books funny, for a character to not be as funny as I was expecting was a little bit difficult. But the whole plot was interesting in a way. So if you want to read something that doesn't take too long to read, if you want to read something that takes your mind off of work or school, or that just lets you wonder and think about everything that you want, you can read this. You should read this because it's interesting, and in some levels his writing is actually educational because of all of the mythology that he actually takes time to explain and teach in various ways. For instance, he talks about all of the relationships in all of the other books, and this book also, between the gods, and how stuff came to be and how stuff will be, and etc, etc. So you get a lot of mythology classes in a way, and it's really funny. And I do agree that for some younger people it could be actually something that drives them to study mythology, for instance. So for me, nothing against it. I think that's really good, and I do appreciate that someone is doing it, because taking something as mythology as a whole theme and doing a lot of series based on that, it's pretty awesome. I have to give him that. But yeah, I couldn't empathize a lot with Magnus Chase. I actually have the second book already of this series. It was also given to me, it was not given, it was lended, okay, by a friend, and it's, I believe, The Hammer of Thor. So spoilers, it has to do with The Hammer of Thor. Sorry guys, it's in the title. But I have it, and I'll probably read it, not right now, because right now I'm not really into this mood. I am reading other stuff, I have priorities, I have some videos that I have to make, and I'll probably announce them next week, so be on point for that. But yeah, not right now, but I will read it because I found it funny, I found it interesting, and although I couldn't empathize a lot with the main character, that doesn't mean I didn't like the side characters, which were actually great in a way. So, and there's still a lot of things that I want to know, not particularly about main character, but of some side characters and some of the quests. And I do find interesting that the second book has to do with the Hammer of Thor, and you know, Thor is one of the major Norse gods, so probably it will be a little bit more, it'll be better, probably. So yeah, this was good for a start, but it wasn't the best start that I've ever seen to a series. So yeah, but I do know that I have a problem with the first books in the series of Rick Riordan. I hated the first book in the Heroes of Olympus series. I was like, why the fuck do I want to... I'm so sorry, but it was like that. Like, why do I want to know about this, and why am I reading this? And then after that, it was my favorite series by him. So yeah. And I have a problem with the first book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, because he was so young and so annoying, and why? And then I ended up enjoying it to a point. And I had a problem with the first one in the Kane Chronicles, again because of the main character, and then I enjoyed it to a very high point, actually. And I do believe that those books, the 3 books of the Kane Chronicles, are not as talked as the other ones, and you probably should read those because it has to do with Egyptian mythology and it's really great. But yeah, so I do recommend it if you want a light read, but don't expect too much. I mean, I'm not saying it sucks, but it's not really good. So I hope the second one is better, because I have standards to maintain since I read the Heroes of Olympus series, and I was expecting more of that standard, and I was a little bit disappointed. That's why maybe I'm doing this sad face all the time and criticizing this book, although maybe the series doesn't deserve to be criticized. I will see that, and I will tell you how it went with the second book and possibly the third if I want to read it and if I do end up getting it. So that is that. So I hope you guys liked this review. I know it was a little bit of a bad review of a very, very popular book. So just a disclaimer, again, I didn't hate this book. I liked it to a point, but it wasn't my favorite book by Rick Riordan, and I had a problem with the main character, and that for me, it spoils a little bit of the book. I can't have as much fun as I wanted to, and that for me is important to have with a Rick Riordan book, fun, because that's why I read them. I don't read them for enlightenment. I'm sorry, but that's true. But I'm not bashing the book. No, I think you should read it. It's nice. It's a nice pick to Norse mythology. So you do what you want. And if you agree with my opinions, tell me so down below. If you don't agree, tell me so. Please don't insult me, because that's really bad to do. But you can tell me so down below too. And I really want to know if people love this first book or if it gets better through the series. Just tell me. I am very open to answer all of the comments and to discuss every opinion in my channel. So that is that. So I hope you guys liked this video. Leave a like if you liked it, and subscribe down below, and happy readings to you all. Bye!